The story of the fig tree. Jesus and his disciples walked toward Jerusalem. On the road, he would show them a lesson about faith, prayer, and forgiveness, a lesson we can still live by today. The sun was just rising over the quiet village of Bethany. Jesus stepped out, his disciples close behind him. Together they set off down the dusty road toward Jerusalem. Birds sang in the trees as the morning came alive. Barley fields swayed gently in the soft breeze. Jesus walked ahead, calm and steady in every step. The disciples followed, whispering about the day to come. Peter leaned over to John, pointing toward the distant city. Andrew shifted his bag, adjusting it on his shoulder. James shaded his eyes against the brightening sky. The sound of sandals crunched over the gravel path. A shepherd crossed with his sheep, and the group stepped aside. Jesus smiled warmly as the shepherd bowed respectfully. They passed olive trees with twisting, fruitful branches. Jesus slowed, deep in thought as they drew nearer. Jerusalem's grand temple shimmered faintly on the horizon. The disciples talked about the festival soon to begin. Jesus listened quietly, his eyes fixed ahead. But after the long walk, hunger stirred within him. Up ahead, a tall fig tree stood, full of green leaves. The tree looked alive, a promise of food for the hungry. From a distance, its leaves made it seem full of fruit. Jesus stepped closer, and the disciples watched carefully. He pulled back the leaves, searching the branches, but there was nothing, no figs to be found. The disciples exchanged confused glances. Jesus stood tall, his face serious before the tree. He said,
"May no one ever eat fruit from you again."
The disciples fell silent, puzzled by his words. Then they moved on, leaving the fig tree behind. The leaves rustled softly in the morning wind. The next day they walked the same road once more. Suddenly, Peter noticed the tree in the distance. He stopped, pointing in surprise for the others to see. The fig tree was no longer green, but dry and brittle. Its leaves hung shriveled, branches lifeless and bare. The disciples gathered, amazed at what had happened. Peter said,
"Rabbi, look! The tree you cursed has withered!"
Jesus turned to them, ready to teach a greater lesson. He began with these words,
Have faith in God. If you tell this mountain, "Be thrown into the sea," and believe without doubting, it will be done.
They leaned in, listening closely to every word. Jesus added,
When you pray, believe you have received it. And when you pray, forgive anyone you hold against.
The disciples grew quiet, realizing forgiveness mattered as much as faith. The withered tree stood as a reminder. Faith, prayer, and forgiveness are the fruit God seeks in us. God looks for real fruit in our lives, faith that trusts, prayers that believe, and hearts that forgive. When we live this way, nothing is impossible with God.